Welcome to Knock and Taste Buds. We're going to be making yummy fish cutlets today. First thing we're going to be doing for the fish cutlets is boiling these potatoes. Today I'm using 2 small potatoes which are 280 grams. Now I'm going to peel them and cube them first. I have cubed these potatoes. Now to this we need to add water, enough water to make sure that it covers all the potatoes, so then it cooks really well. To this we need to add 1 teaspoon of salt. Now we're going to be covering up the potatoes and let this come to a boil and cook really well. In the meantime, we'll get all the other ingredients ready. Today I'm using canned jack mackerel fish, which is in salt water. This has a net weight of 425 grams including the water. So usually when you drain out the water, it'll be about 325 to 350 grams. It should say it on the can itself. Now I have already removed the lid off the potato pot, and I'm just going to use a fork to make sure that the potatoes are cooked well. All I'm doing is just forking the potatoes to make sure they're tender to touch, and if they are, when you use the fork, you know that it has been cooked really well. So we can turn off the stove now and move on to getting the fish ready. Now that I have drained out the water out of the can, now we just have to break up the fish. I usually use a fork to break it up so it is nice and small, and I'm not biting into large chunks of fish when I'm eating the cutlet. And I don't normally take out the bone that's attached to the fish, and because it's so soft, I'm able to break it up with the fork. But if you like, you can always take it apart as well and just toss it out. But I find that it adds a lot of flavor, and it's so soft that you don't even notice it, and it breaks up really well. I just want to show you how soft the bone is that you don't really need to even take it away, because it's so soft that I can just break it up with my finger. And what I sometimes like to do is, if I find that it's not broken down into small pieces as I like, because I don't like biting into big chunks, I want everything to be mixed really well to make sure that the flavor goes through the whole cutlet. I like to just use my fingers to just break everything apart really well. Okay, I have now drained the water out of the potatoes, and all I'm doing is using a fork to break up the potatoes into small pieces, almost like how you would do it for mashed potatoes. You want to make sure, just like with the fish, that the potatoes are broken up into smaller pieces, and and that you're not biting into big chunks, and it is mixed really well with the fish into the cutlet. Just like we did with the fish, I noticed that there are still some bigger chunks of the potatoes. So all I'm doing is right now I'm just using my fingers to find those bigger chunks and just break them up in between my fingers so that it is nice and smooth in the fish mix. Now you can see I have nicely mashed up all the potatoes and how small and nice and smooth they are. Now we're going to add all the mashed potatoes to the fish that we have broken up and kept ready. Now I'm adding half cup of diced onion, which is 50 grams, or it's equal to 1 small onion. Now I'm adding 1 diced green chili, which is 1 tablespoon, and you can always add more green chili if you like the cutlets to be much more spicier. Now I'm adding 1/4 teaspoon turmeric. Now I'm adding half teaspoon of black pepper and cumin powder mix, and I usually have this made into a powder form, which I roast the black pepper and cumin. And of course, if you don't have this, just add plain half teaspoon of black pepper and you will be okay. Now I'm adding half teaspoon of salt, Now we have to mix all the ingredients well together, and for this I like to use my hands just because I know that I can do a better job making sure all the ingredients are mixed well, and it is more like a smooth dough, so then when I'm making the cutlet balls, then it stays really well together. You can see all the mixture is mixed really well and looks more like a dough. Now we can start making the cutlet balls. For this I usually take about a small lime size for each ball, and roll it into my hand and then slightly flatten it so that it cooks evenly when we fry it in the oil. And all we have to do is let's make all the mixtures into small cutlet balls and have them ready to be battered up and fried. Usually with this I get about 25 to 27 cutlets depending on how much I'm adding into each bowl. Now we have all the beautiful cutlet patties ready to be battered and cooked in the oil for us to enjoy. So let's just get the egg batter and the breadcrumbs ready for that. Now let's get the eggs ready to batter the cutlet patties. So for this we're going to be using 2 eggs today. I'm adding fresh ground peppers to flavor the eggs, just a little bit, as much as you think you need it. I'm also adding 1/16 teaspoon of salt, just a little bit, just to add some flavor. Now I'm just going to whip it all up really nicely and mix everything well together. Okay, let's get the breadcrumbs ready. For this I'm using 1 cup breadcrumbs, which is 80 grams, and today I had some homemade bread left over, so I just got that dried up, blended up. You can equally use the store-bought, that's not a problem at all, and I'm just flavoring it with some fresh black pepper and a little bit of salt, which is 1/8 teaspoon. Now mix it all up really well so the breadcrumbs are flavored well. Okay, let's get the oil ready for the cutlet patties to be fried. I usually like to use a small pot, so this way I'm not wasting all the oil that I deep fried, since it's not healthy to reuse the deep fried oil. So for my pot I'm using 2 cups of oil today, so it all depends on the type of pot you use, how big or small it is, and you want to make sure that you have enough oil to cover the cutlet patty, so this way it fries evenly and it fries well. Now we just have to wait for the oil to heat up so we can fry up all the patties. Okay, while the oil is heating up and getting ready, we'll get all the cutlet patties battered up and coated and get it ready to fry. For this I like to use the egg wash. First dip it in the egg wash, and it acts as a great glue to get the crumbs on, and I usually like to coat my cutlet patties in a lot of breadcrumbs so then it comes out nice and crispy. And I'm just getting all the cutlet patties ready, so just gonna dip it in the egg wash first, make sure it coats really well so it acts like a nice glue, and get as much breadcrumbs as you can. That's the way I like it, so it comes out again nice and crispy. And we'll just do this for all the cutlet patties and get them ready to be fried up. Okay, now the oil is all ready, so let's add the cutlet patties that are battered up into the oil one at a time. And I wish you can smell the cutlet patties cooking. The fish cutlets smell so yummy. I can't wait to get my hands on them. When you notice that they're cooked on the one side, just turn it to the other side and make sure that it is cooked on the other side as well. Okay, now you can see they're cooked really well on both sides, and we can start taking them out of the oil now, and it's nice and crispy and really cooked well. And now we'll just fry all the other fish cutlets. Now you can see that we have fried all the fish cutlet patties, and they look beautifully golden brown and nice and crispy on the outside, and we are ready to get them served and enjoy them now. I'm just plating the fish cutlets to enjoy them today. Today I'm going to enjoy my fish cutlets with some homemade mint and cilantro sauce. And some ketchup to top it up. Thank you very much for coming over to Knockin' Taste Buds today. I'm going to enjoy my yummy fish cutlets now, and I hope that you get to try this too and enjoy it for yourself. Thank you.